I am going to be hosting the next segment, Money Matters. If you have not seen me on Money Matters before, Money Matters is a talk show that I host on a weekly basis where we discuss different topics regarding money and in terms of personal finance, in terms of entrepreneurship, your business finance, and all of that. And we get exciting guest speakers to come on board and share their personal experiences on how they learned some lessons about money and how they managed it, so that we don't need to go on and make those same mistakes. We can learn from the people who have already made those mistakes and do things much better, which is what we do in Money Matters. So I hope today's segment will also inspire all of you and will have some lessons for all of you to take away. And I'm sure, I can assure you, today's session is going to be very, very good. I am actually very nervous for today's Money Matters because the guest speaker is none other than the founder of ET Ideas, Mr. Ilango Tiago. He's actually my mentor, and last time, a long time ago, if you guys don't know, I think we used to host talk shows with him on a weekly basis. So this should be very natural for me, but it has been a very long time, so I'm quite nervous. So forgive me for all of my tongue slips and all of that, but it's going to be an exciting segment. And if you don't know what is the topic for today, today's topic is money in the 4 stages of life. So for all of you people who have just heard the word 4 stages of life, you have no idea what it means. I'm just going to quickly give you guys an intro to it. So the 4 stages of life consists of these 4 stages on screen: learning, experiencing, contemplating, and letting go. So learning comes to many of you think learning means go to school, come back from school. That's what learning means. But it also includes other things like learning the essentials of life, nature's laws, listening to your heart, how to work in a team, how to be able to talk to people, communicate effectively, all of those things. We also have the next stage, experiencing, where you're done learning, but now you have to practice it and apply what you have learned. And how do you apply it? You do it in by going to work, and you have to apply it in your job, in your career. You have to apply it in your relationships and all these other areas of life as well. Third stage and fourth stage is not really my forte because I think I'm still in the second stage. But third stage, just to summarize a little bit, is where you start to make sense of the experiences that you have accumulated so far, and you can actually start to guide others with your vast knowledge and experiences, which I think is a very, very important thing to do. And of course, the last stage, letting go, is when you start to fully give in to guiding the next generation. You actually let go of whatever resources you may have. It can be your time, it can be your money, your knowledge, your experience, everything towards building the next generation. And you actually begin to realize that you don't need anything, but nature will sustain you. Of course, I do not speak about this from experience. I am just probably saying some theory, but we do have our guest speaker today actually has the experience of going through all 4 stages of life. So without further ado, let's welcome our guest speaker on screen. Hello.
Hello. Oh, you're
How are you?
nervous, huh? Me also nervous, man.
Okay, we shall together be nervous and do this session.
We haven't done this a long time, right? Yeah.
Yes, it has been a very long time. So thank you so much for agreeing to be on Money Matters. It's like my biggest achievement in some time. But I think we're going to have some really, really
But I
interesting
think
conversations.
I was like I'm twisted into this, right? Something like that, right? But okay,
I'm not.
I'm already here.
Yes, nothing can be done now. So further into the arm twisting, I usually put my guest speakers into a tough spot by asking some very quick rapid fire questions, but they're also very deep. So I'm gonna go ahead and ask those questions to you as well, just to break the ice. Audience, you can actually ask those questions, answer those questions as well. Come up with something and let us know in the comments, and I'll probably read out some of it. So the first question is actually, what is your biggest money mistake? Because I don't think I've ever asked you this.
If I tell you, it will shock you, and probably shock your audience also. I think
Okay.
my biggest money mistake was buying my first property at the age of 19. That was my biggest mistake. Yeah.
Okay.
This rapid fire, right? So I can explain it later. Yeah.
No, no. Oh God, I should have asked this later. Okay.
It's
Okay,
okay. You just bring it back later. Like rapid fire, we must do fast.
can. Okay, fine. Next question. What is the number one principle with regards to money that you have?
Okay. This may sound very cliche, but the thing is, the truth is this: lah. Learn to use money wisely, but never hoard money.
Okay.
That's my
I think
principle.
I think we'll also talk about this later.
I suppose so. Yeah, because rapid fire, you're supposed to be fast.
Okay, I'm not so into this rapid fire. I should have never said rapid fire. But oh well. Okay, final question for this rapid fire,
Yeah.
which is, what is one question you wish people won't ask you about money?
I'll be very frank with you. The one that irritates me the most is they'll ask me this question: how to make more money? I go like, ah,
Okay, I will not ask you that question for sure. It was not in my
please
plan,
do.
so you are safe.
Okay. I
So
got many
guys,
more other things to offer.
sorry.
I got many more other things to offer. Okay. How to make
Okay,
money?
yes,
There are 20 books you can go and read.
yes. Go read the other books, guys.
Yeah.
Don't waste it. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, we today's topic is the money in four stages of life, which I think is a huge topic. I have no idea how we're going to talk about it in 45 minutes, but we shall
Yeah.
try. But my first thing that came to my mind, right, is it applying four stages of life in terms of money, right? Is it like the easiest thing to do, or is it harder compared to applying it in every other stages of every other aspect of your life?
I mean, basically, I think I've talked to you guys before about it. There are 7 aspects of life that we need to cover.
Yep.
One of it is money, because I'm not going to go into all that, because by the time we go into all that, the 45 minutes will finish already. So I think it's not matter it's easier or not easier or difficult or what. See, the principles are similar. I think what is more difficult is, there's this statement, it's simple, but yet not easy. See, a lot of things that we study and books and everything like that, in theory you can use lah, but the thing when you come to practical, everything changes. For
Yep.
some people, managing money comes naturally. For some people, it's difficult. For some people, managing relationships is easy, but other things they could be like horrible at it. So the thing is to balance in the 7 areas. So I think what's more appropriate answer would be being able to manage money correctly in different stages of life. I think that one is not so easy, because at the first stage, second stage, third stage, everything varies. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm.
Since you brought that up, I think that would be my next question. Like, to be honest, when I think like learning for money in the first stage of life, learning money, it never really correlate. A lot of people think it's bad to teach kids about making money or managing money and all of that. Is what actually are we supposed to learn about money in the first stage of life?
You see, I'll be very frank with you. I mean, I think maybe the audience will know roughly about the 4 stages if I tell them like the year wise, what is it like? In a bigger scale, I mean, the 4 stages of life happens every minute of your life. Okay. But in general, it means the first 20 years is supposed to be learning. That means the whole process of learning. So the 0 to 20 is for you to learn, 20 to 40 is for you to actually experience. And then, they say life starts up to 40. So 40 to 60 is more about you contemplating about all the journey you went through and how you can use it back and give back to society and help out society in different ways and all that. By the time it's 60 to 80, it's more like giving away all the resources that you have, because you took everything from nature, you give it back to nature. Right. So roughly, so the first 20 years when you talk about with regards to money, one of the biggest mistakes that families, parents, even teachers to a certain extent, they make is they think money is something that you can learn when you're older. All right.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it's one of the most fundamental things in life. Listen, you cannot live life without money. It doesn't make sense. That's why a lot of times you find intelligent people doing the most stupidest things at the age of 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Hence, you find most bankrupts now at that age. Because the moment you finish your graduate, I think now they have pre-approved credit cards and all that. These people don't understand what money is all about and all that. They just go and spend. So
Yep.
some of them end up with so much of debts, they end up paying it for the rest of their life. I've heard about people who have committed suicide because of debts. So, in other words, money should be taught from the very young age. Now, when you talk about young age, the thing that people normally say is about savings. They always talk about savings. You learn to save money, save money, save money. I've heard this so many times. I'm not saying it's no good, it's good. But you got to teach them what to do with the money. You got to teach them about what money is all about, what is financial market is all about, what is credit cards all about, what is debit cards all about, and all. You see, imagine we learn. Let's say you want to become an engineer, you learn all the things about engineering and everything before you go to work. Now, the most important thing, which is money, which is going to be used in every area of your life, and you got zero knowledge on that. Okay, and then the problem is you apply whatever knowledge you have learned in school, that the normal education thing for money. Money doesn't work like that. Money is totally different. I mean, you understand. Money is supposed to be circulated. Those who circulate money well earn more, have more. That's it. That's the secret. Nothing else. Is it? All right. So it's about learning about this. I feel children should be taught things like savings, bonds, what is this futures, commodities, and all this. They should know this because these are all part and parcel of life, right? And I think that's what Ascendance is doing now. I think that's what you're also doing now. I think you all are coming up with programs and all those things, which you're actually sharing with kids how this thing actually works. They must also understand what is marketing is all about. They must understand what is sales, what is all about, and all that. You see, at the end of the day, they say, oh, sales and all that, money making, all we do later. It's not about money making, it's learning. Sometimes you have to market yourself, going out there. Some people go do interviews and I look at them, everything A, this can do, that can do, everything on paper. When come and talk, the moment they start talking, they know nothing.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's like this. End of the day, marketing yourself, everything, all this is related around this whole thing in this money thing. It's not about money making, it's understanding fundamentals of money. I feel kids should learn this so that when they come to 2021, 22, they are much more wiser. Whatever money they earn, they know how to invest it properly and what to do with it and all that. That's also one more thing. Some people say, I make $1 million already, then only I'll start helping other people and all that. It doesn't work like that. When you hit million, it will tell you 10 million, then only I help people. So you must also include the part about, using the money for the world and everything like that. Maybe start with like 10%, support these people and that kind of thing and all that. So all that must be done at a young age so that the habit pattern is already formed. Okay, just sharing on the first stage. That's how it works.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's very nicely said. I'm personally very curious, like, because when you were 12 years old, you were running your own business and all. That actually helped a lot with regards to your own learning stage, right?
Yep. No, I'll be very frank with you. I was mixing with CEOs of companies, people who, because I was young, so when you're young, the older generation, especially those who are doing really well, and then they see you have a skill. I was very good in computers at that time, so programming and everything. So everybody tends to give you some advice and all that. I found a huge drastic difference of advice from those owners of company and the people around me. All right, people around means, I don't want to go into the detail because some of them are watching. Probably after they say, so this is what you thought of me last time. The people who don't have any experience about that particular topic, especially money, will be the one who will give you the most advice. And the advice will not make any sense. And those who I worked with at that point of time, they were so kind to teach me a lot of things. And I took up reading a bit more, so I understood about money a bit more and all that, at a much younger age. That's why my decisions with regard to money was different, except for one. After making that decision, which I said just now was my biggest mistake, I realized that, I shall never do this again. You know what I mean?
I think that brings us to the next stage of life, which is experiencing, which is where a lot of people go and do this weird stuff, like buy their car, buy the house, and all those stuff.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm going to tell this now, and there'll be a lot of people watching this. And again, they'll be saying that Ilango is talking nonsense, which I don't care. But, every time people ask me, I tell the same answer. You know that. You see, when I was 18, 19, I one of the things that I always wanted to do was to travel. I love traveling. All right. Whatever money I made sure I traveled, because if you travel, you learn a lot. And I was young, and the people around me are saying like, you're spending too much money on traveling. And those days, traveling is huge. You didn't have like Asia, everybody can fly. See, basically nobody can fly. You must have a lot of money in order to fly. You must have travel agent, you must have all these things at that time. And there's not like so many flights available. So 1920 and everything like that, I was into traveling and finding out who I am, want to know more things about life and usual stuff. But as usual, the people around me were saying like, you know what, you're spending too much money. You need to put your money somewhere safe and everything like that. So I was sort of like convinced to buy a property. So, when I bought my first property, I was 19 years old. Of course, feel good, I'm young, bought my property and this, that, and everything like that. And people around feel very good, it's like people say you should be like him. But you ask me frankly, then, I took a loan, which I paid very fast, relatively fast, because I was earning money and everything like that. But I realized something. My mind was like, hey, I need to pay every month for that one. I need this one. So I ended up focusing more on my work. And a lot of my travels, I need to like reduce it a bit. All right. I feel this. When you're young, you should travel. So I made sure I travel a lot after that. I did travel, but I could have traveled more. That's what I'm saying. And travel more, get to know people more. Don't take the normal these tourist things and everything like that. Go and learn something. If you want to know something about some particular part of the world, the history of it, or something like that, and all that, rather than reading in a book, make some money and then go and see the things there. Nothing like being there and learning it. I met fabulous people like amazing knowledge and experience with regards to life and about the things that I wanted to learn when I traveled. So one of the first things I will tell youngsters is basically, of course, save money is already a habit pattern, right? So you save certain amount of money for savings and all that. And if you have learned earlier itself with regards to investment, unit trust, this, that, and all that, you will naturally spend some money there and all that. And then spend some money with regards to more onto traveling. And forget about buying all these properties, this and that, and all those things. You just rent and stay. Like, you're still young, okay? Don't trouble yourself with a headache and all those things of doing that. I'm not saying don't buy property. What I'm saying is learn experience first. See, when you're young, you can travel more. You can do a lot more things. You can afford to screw up, and you can always start back again. Okay, not when you're like 50 years old, right? So you can do all this stuff. The other thing is, with regards to the car and all those things, buy something simple. Even me, I was just driving a lousy car at that point of time. Only when I was 23, I was driving like a sports car and all those things. But at the time, my friends were coming out from what we call university graduate and everything like that. I already made plenty of money at that time. I already have my property. I already have my car and everything like that. But you ask me frankly if I can rewind back and change. Of course, I won't change anything. But if you give me a choice, even those things I wouldn't have bought. I would just continue traveling. Nothing like traveling. The kind of experience and the love you have for humanity, people, and everything like that. You become very humbled, and you start to understand how powerful nature is and everything like that. So I suggest this. Of course, some parents are going to say, like, why are you watching this? But
I think what's important is in this we get a different perspective. Probably you guys have
yeah,
not heard something like this before,
yeah,
and hopefully it opens up your mind to a different reality in a way. So
yeah,
now that I think travel, that is something I learned from you before that, and I also hear a lot of people, like personally for me at this age, one of the things that's very confusing is everyone, everything, every article I read, every podcast I hear will talk about you must work towards preparing your retirement fund so that at that time you can live comfortably. And then I'm like, why is everyone focusing on like being comfortable 60 years from now? So what do we do? Like, do we prepare for that, or do we prepare like live life now?
that's what I'm trying to say. See, the problem is why these questions all come. But you find, let's say, a 10-year-old kid, 11-year-old kid, nobody talks to them about retirement fund. Do you realize that? Okay, why you're not talking to retirement? By right, he come into this world, so you must talk to them retirement fund. The reason why you're talking to them retirement fund at that point of time, like 20 something and all, I'm quite fascinated. You know why? During my time when we were 20 plus and everything, like, nobody talked about retirement fund. Really, no one talked about all these things. I know you may say, like, that time these things are not available, they were available. It's just that it wasn't talked about much about it.
Yep.
It's like the world works like this, all these advertisements, this, that, and everything like that. All talks about stuff like, the fear of the future and everything like that. Okay, now let's say you are 20 something. Okay, I'm just giving you a simple example. You're 20 something and you're going to retire, let's say 55. Okay, that is about 30 years from now. Now, let me give you a fact. Most of the scientists in the world, they are saying that Stephen Hawking says, the world is like, we only have less than 100 years on this planet. Some scientists are very extreme. There's few fellows who are saying, like, we only have like 20, 30 years and all that. So how would your retirement fund work then? You know what I mean? Right.
Build a boat with it.
No one knows what's going to happen in the future. That doesn't mean I say be irresponsible. No. What I'm trying to say is you learn the thing in the first stage of life, in the first 20 years. Learn about income and everything. You see, a simple example I give you. Let's say, I don't know whether we're spending too much of time on this. You let me know if too much. The house prices now, let's say a house you buy 750,000, 800,000, depending on the place. A lot of places, the price of the house is still high, but the rental there is very low. So your yield, okay, quickly going to maths, okay, the yield is about 2%, 3%, that kind of thing and all that. And you're stuck on a property, you don't know whether you can sell, when, this and that. Now, if I give you an instrument called REITs, Real Estate Investment Trust, which actually gives you something like 6 to 8%, sometimes even 10%. Some unit trusts give you more than that. Don't you think it's better put your money there? You can always buy anytime, you can always sell anytime. I know some people may not understand what I'm saying. The reason why is because you didn't learn this when you were younger. You should have learned this much younger, So when you talk about retirement fund, there's a lot of so-called financial analysts and everything like that will tell you a lot of things. But if you know the stuff well on your own, it's so much easier to handle, right? It's just common sense. So when you talk about retirement fund and all that, I do agree. You need to save some money for yourself when you're older and everything like that. I'm not saying no. But what I'm saying is don't hoard money. Don't imagine what kind of amount of money you need at that point of time and everything like that. It all depends on your lifestyle. Now, let me be very frank with you. The kind of lifestyle I live now, I would have never imagined 30 years ago. All right? Because life changes over time. You change over time. So when you plan things, have some savings, have the thing, keep what you need, and those things which are extra, you just give it away. That's how it works. And if you invest it in the right places, the rightest thing, over a period of time, it will grow. All right. So there are many instruments available. Insurance companies are giving, unit trust companies are giving, financial analysts are all giving, but you decide. Don't make the figure look ridiculous. Okay. That's what
Yes.
I mean. Yeah. Okay. So don't be too swayed by all this information, advertisement, and this, that, and everything like that.
Yeah.
That's why I tell today when people ask me whether you can teach me something about finance, you know my answer, right? Go and find somebody else.
Yes.
Yeah, my answer is that simple as that. Like, because it's not like you sit down in a classroom and teach, this is life, Okay.
So speaking of that, life, when what actually happened, so I do not know what is stage 3 and stage 4. I've not
Okay.
experienced it. So what actually is stage 3 and stage 4, and how does money play a role in these two stages?
Okay. Now, when you talk about stage two, I just be very frank about it. Of course, you earn money, you experience life. I'm not saying, you see, the thing is, I'm saying things based on my experience. I mean, if your heart wants to buy a house or something like previously, there was one of the MC was saying something like he wants to buy a huge bungalow beside Himalaya and everything. Like, go ahead. I'm not saying no. I'm not saying don't buy. I mean, that's what your heart wants. Who am I to tell you don't do it? These are my this thing. What I'm saying is buy one for you to stay fine. You do it up nicely, this, that, and everything. But don't go and buy 20 of that, because every single house or anything that you buy, you displace something else which lived there before. See, energy is neither created nor destroyed. So there could be a forest which was there before. There could be beautiful animals who reached there before, and they may not be there anymore. The reason being is because you have 20 houses which you only visit like one house every 3 years or something like that. So
Yes.
it doesn't make sense. You want to buy a car? Fine, go ahead. Find a really nice car. Maybe you like a sports car. Buy one. Even me, I bought a sports car. I just used it for a couple of years and I just let it go. I don't want anymore. It's the experience that you want. So you want to get sports car, fine. You want to get a big MPV and all, get it, fine. But don't go and buy 30 and 100 a fleet and all that. You are not being fair with regards to sharing of resources. Okay,
Yeah.
if everyone starts thinking like that, finish your game over. All right. So okay, so coming back to the thing, then you have let's example relationship. You have a family. You have to worry. I mean, you start thinking about your family, your spouse, your children, and all these are experiences of life. Maybe you want to do some business. You try that. Maybe you want to work somewhere and you want to become the CEO of a company or anything like that. All this you experience. So as time goes on, you'll notice something. You gain a lot of experience. Then comes the third stage. The third stage is when you look back into all the journey. Those who have come up to about 40 plus, when you look back, the last 20 years, whatever you planned or anything like before that will never happen. Everything will happen the other way around one. Unless you're a baby boomer. During your time, all baby boomers, different. Life was different, simple and everything like that. Ours very complicated. You go to a college, those days mean you have this, probably you have 10 courses, that's about all. Now you go means you like 300 courses and you're wondering, what am I supposed to study now? Okay. Right. So life is a bit more complicated. So by the time you're 40, when you look back, then you see a beautiful journey. Nature has been guiding you all the while. And then there'll be certain skills that you have which will be outstanding. I mean, if you followed your heart and you did everything correctly and everything, you will have certain skills. I'm not sure whether we have enough time, Madhura, but I will try to explain briefly. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, just like me, I started with computers. Everyone thought I'm going to be in computers forever. You ask me frankly now, even set up this Zoom, this StreamYard thing, I had people to help me to set it up. I was good at it at that point of time. So during that point of time, I learned a lot analysis and everything. Then I went into safety and health because an opportunity was there. I went into safety and health. Then I realized, safety and health need to be brought to the next level and this and that. I wrote software. I did this. I did a lot of things over there. I loved doing what I did and I didn't miss what I did earlier. So then after that, I realized many other things. There's a lot of people not aware of how important safety and health is. So I realized we must give them some awareness. Then I started giving awareness talks. I started giving programs, teaching them about motivation regarding value themselves more, and they can do a lot more with life and all that. Eventually, I went into investment. I wrote books. I wrote like 3-4 books or something like that. Okay, I mean, it just went on going. By the time. For me, the 4 stages of life worked a bit more earlier. By the time I was 28, I was already financially independent. By the time I was already thinking of retiring and all that, that's when it hit me. There's a lot of things that I can still do. I was going into my third stage at that point of time. I was looking back at all these experiences. One of the things that came to my mind is, hey, maybe I can teach other people to become successful, start businesses and everything like that. It sounds easy. You see, when you do it, you can do it. But when you teach somebody else to do it, it's two different things, right? That's why a lot of people think I also can teach. You know why? I went to 3 courses. I understand now. I have a certificate, so I can teach. No, you cannot. The thing is, you need experience of life. Yes, you can, but your advice and all that may not be sound. You may actually cause more harm to people than good. So in my case, I started experimenting a bit here and there. Some worked, some didn't work, and all those things. But over time, I figured it out. Then in 2008, I started this journey between the third stage. I say third stage basically teaching back, sharing my experiences, everything like that and all that. Then comes the third to fourth stage was somewhere around 2008 where I started ET Ideas, up to around I think 2015, 16, somewhere around there. So it was a phase of starting where I use back my resources. That include my own personal money and everything like that, and help other people start their own companies and all. I didn't own these companies. I had some small shares in there and everything like that. And they started to grow, and many of them did very well. I think we built more than 30 over companies, if I'm not mistaken, and many of them are doing very well now. Some of them are multi-million-dollar companies and all that. By the time I reached 2016, 2017, then I started the actual fourth stage of life, where even the funds that I had, the money I had and everything like that, which I've already passed over to ET Ideas and also Ascendance. I don't have any shares in ET Ideas. I don't have any shares in Ascendance. I don't have anything anymore, right? I am as free as a bird. Right? So that's the fourth stage. That one, I think I explained how many times the people get howla, kena, how, they keep asking. The reason being because conventional wisdom doesn't tell you all this. Yeah. So third stage is basically using the money to teach other people. The fourth one is giving the way so that they can bring it to the next level. Like now, Ascendance. What you're doing now is things that people can only dream of those days. Right? I mean, you're going to have this biggest student, teachers, this, that, everybody combined event, which is like more than 50,000 people in next week. You're going to do for two big generations you're actually doing, which is amazing. I mean, when I see the things that you are doing, it makes me even more happier that I actually gave it all up. You know what I mean? Right. Probably if you ask me to do it, I can't do it because you guys think in a totally different way. All right. So I hope I covered some of it.
Yes. I think that was nicely covered. And we do have some time to take some audience questions as well.
Yes,
So,
please do.
guys, if you have questions, you can drop it in the comments. But we did have some people who asked their questions much earlier. So, I think that we can go for the simple one first, lah. Some people send one long essay as a question,
Oh,
but one of
don't.
the simplest question that we have is, what is the best investment option at the present time?
Okay, you see, when a person asks this question, right, it actually, sometimes certain words I use, you may not like it, but this is the truth. You're actually showing your ignorance, as simple as that. It's like, okay,
Ouch.
I'm sorry. I mean, I got to say it. You see, if you've done the first part of learning everything, like, you will never ask question like this. It's like going to somebody in the street and asking them, "Where's Kotaraya? How do I get to Kotaraya?" All right. And just imagine, how do I get to Kotaraya? Then the person say, okay, you know what? You take bus number this and then, okay, you go here and then you see this building here and then you stop there and then after that you take this and then you walk to the left and turn right. This is there, you reach there. Let's say he says that. But you don't know what is a taxi. Okay. You don't know what's a bus. You don't even know the language the guy is talking. So how are you going to reach there? See, I know some people will come to you, you buy bonds is good for you, buy this is good for you, buy unit trust. Unit trust agents will only tell one thing: buy unit trust, that's the best for you. And I don't blame them, because I don't blame them. I mean, everybody's trying to survive, right? The thing is this. What if I tell you something like this? You know what? Right now, the economy is recovering and everything. Buy stocks, buy things which are recovery-based kind of thing, but hedge yourself in the futures. Buy some bonds just in case. Keep some cash because there'll be crashes in the market in between where you can buy and you can sell and make 20, 30% just like that. Who the world will understand what I just said? Okay.
I'm sure half of them zoned out.
Yeah. And the ones who give all this advice, and I say, I'm also not the right person to give this kind of advices and everything because I'm no more in it anymore. I hardly do it. Once in a while I teach you guys how these charts work and this and that. And for somebody who had left the line for so long, asking me, I'm the wrong person to ask. You see? So it's like, first know your stuff first before you ask this kind of questions. That's more important. And always remember, uh, when you don't know how investments work, when you don't know about how money works and everything, it's very easy for you to listen to other people who most of the time got no experience whatsoever. Some of the best money managers that I know, some of the friends who I know very well, they hardly talk about investment. That's the truth. They never talk about it. You talk to them and say, "Hey, see la, what works for you, work lah," that kind of thing. The
Yeah.
reason why they don't is because they know the words they use can change people's lives. That's why. Okay, so just sharing that. Okay, go on. Yeah, next question.
Okay, so there's actually an audience who's watching right now who asked the question as well, which I thought we can answer. I'm just 14, but my parents actually refuse to teach me about money and things. So how do I learn about it?
Well, ask them to watch this particular segment. I think you all will leave it on for a while, right? Then
Yes.
maybe they may listen to you. But because I can't force your parents to do anything, I can't. All right, but there's nothing wrong in googling up things, to understand about finance. You can go like, finance 101. Can you understand? I'm 14, I want to know more about finance. Okay, but again, be careful. Okay, sometimes you have a lot of ads there and they end up going buying things and all that. Don't do that. Okay,
Yep.
what I'm saying is there's a lot of simple, I think, YouTube videos and all that, which teaches you basic things about finance. But be very careful if it goes to one angle and try to get you to buy something. All right, very few people actually give very sound advice but there are people who do that. You can actually listen to them, and there are plenty books, simple books, you can actually read. Right.
Yep.
When I was 14, you think, how did I know about all those days? Our books all be something like this. The one thing good my father did was, when before I sleep, he will normally give me like he'll read something for me. So for me, reading has become a habitual thing. Only thing those days I read with books. Now I use my phone and then read the stuff and everything before I go to sleep. That's it.
Yep.
So make it a habit. Yeah.
All right. So another question that we have is, what mindset do we? Oh my God, sorry, sorry. What mindset do we need to practice to have a good relationship with money?
Okay. Of course, the abundance mindset is very important. All right. A lot of time people have scarcity mindset. Hey, what if I don't have enough? What if I don't have enough? The abundance mindset works like this. You see, over time you will learn something very important. The experience of life, the things that I went through, I realized something. If you have the purpose, some purpose that you're following, your heart and everything like that, and it brings benefit to the world and so on, generally you'll attract money to you. If you're doing things that you don't really like and everything like that, even you get the money, you're not happy about it. You see. Most of the time, you won't get much. If you're doing things which you really love, you will naturally attract the money. So the key thing is, it's not money. Money is just another tool. All right, it's like a hammer. Okay, if you use the hammer properly, you can use it for a lot of good purposes and all this. You can drive the nail through and all this kind of thing. You use the thing properly, you knock your head, you just fall down and you die. So it's the same thing with money. That's why a lot of people who get money, sometimes some parents I've talked to, they say they feel they should give them more this, that, and all that. So give them enough, but not so much until they don't do anything. Because when you have too much, you end up doing the wrong things without you realizing it. Right. So the key thing is here: mindset, abundance. Nature is absolutely beautiful. It is there and it's giving a lot and everything like that. As nature shares, you got to learn how to share. When you can share the resources, you grow naturally. That's how it works. Yeah.
I think one of the most important things I learned was like to focus on what you love to do and actually build things first instead of just going money, money, money all the time. Like look
Exactly.
at working with a team, building something like Ascendance. It was so much more exciting. And I think in the newest learner virtual conference, we're also gonna have so many youngsters who will be talking about these things
Yep.
and how they don't actually focus on money. A lot of them are looking at giving back to the community, which is what matters more. So I there's a lot of people having existential crisis in the comments. They're like, money or life? Why is money so important? They're asking questions like that as well. Do
I
you
don't
have?
blame you. A lot of people talk about money, 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 money. Everyone is talking about money. There's so many ads, so many this, so many that, and that's why a lot of them get conned into going into like scheme chapat kaya, and all those kind of things and all that. Because the thing is, why you study to earn money? To earn money, then you can live a better life and everything like that. I mean,
Yep.
you try telling that to people like Bill Gates, try telling that to Mark Zuckerberg and all those things. You go and see their life, lah, then you know what I mean. See, I'm not saying. Like I said, fundamentals of money you must learn. Let me tell you something. You see, your education. Let's say you learn something, you may not use all of it, or you may not use any of it throughout your life, or maybe just some small part of it. But money lesson, you will use it throughout your life. Throughout your life, you'll use it, and you must not fear it. Neither do you favor it. Basically, it's a tool. It's not like you take the hammer and then so carefully you finish your work, you put and then you just move on, right? It's the same thing with money. It's a tool, all right? As long as you do that, you'll be okay. Right? Sorry, go on. Any
So
other
I
question?
think maybe we can answer take few more audience questions. So there was one audience who, when they RSVP, they asked this question, which I thought was quite interesting, which is how to save for our children's education fund, because there'll
Okay.
be like inflation rate in 20 years and all that. Very long question, but basically how to save for my kids' education
Yeah,
fund.
I mean, if you look for what you want to save and everything, like, of course, there's plenty funds available. There are education funds. Some of them they have like I think unit trusts have some. I think insurance also have some which actually tie with life insurance and everything like, which is actually good. Nothing is wrong with that. But one thing, I mean, probably this a parent is actually asking this question, maybe, or future parent or something like that. I want you to know something, Okay, now you start this fund and then you grow it, and then let's say it reaches a 200,000-300,000 or something like that. By the time your children, I mean, your child is 18 years old or something like that, and you want them to go and study and everything. Now you got to remember something, you are doing this, your child is not doing this, Your child might just listen around and then say, like, you know what? I want to be an artist. I want to be this rock star and everything like that and everything. And you go like, you know what? I've been working so hard and save all this money for you. And you cannot blackmail them,
Yep.
Emotional blackmail. Don't do that. The reason being is maybe that's what they want to do. You don't know. Right. I mean, you look at Hira, for example. You see, when she was 18, I mean, she finished IGCSE, she was straight A student, everything like that. And guess what she wanted to become? She wanted to become this songwriter, performer, and international star and everything like that. I
Yep.
mean, uh, anyone at the right frame of mind will be thinking, "Why you got all these A's? You got this. You're a top student of the school. Everyone giving you scholarship, and you say you want to become this rock star. How lah? That kind of thing." But
Yep.
fast forward now, 4-5 years later. I mean, let's face it. She just won the ISSA award, I think, last month or something like. She was out in the Age Today newspaper. She's out here, there, everywhere. It's like she has written songs which have won her international awards and everything like that. She's actually making money from her line and everything. Now, already 5 years later, now she's pursuing her studies in Harvard. See, the thing is, your kid may not want to do it at that time. They might want to do it later, all right? Or they may not want to do it at all. So don't force them to do something that they don't want to do, because at the end of the day, they may hate you for it. I know some parents will say, oh, they may hate me now, but later they will not. Let me tell you, they still do, right? It's just that they don't tell you. That's the truth, right? Okay, I'm just sharing with you my experience. Keep the money aside, okay? Tell them, okay, anytime you want to go and study anything, you can use it, or you want to use it for your business, you want to use it for your this thing, whatever, you can use it. Please use it, something like that. All right. So saving money with regards to education and everything, there's plenty of things available out there. But of course, if you know how to manage money better, you can actually achieve the target much better, faster.
Yep.
Yep.
I think this. Wow. There's
And
one person
do,
who's
do,
very
do, do,
concerned.
do you realize something? I'm sidestepping most of the questions.
Yes. You never actually answer the question. It's just some other thing.
I mean, this is what experience, it's experience teaches, you say certain things, you get yourself into trouble. So, but you still give the gist of the answers,
Yes, yes.
Okay,
And
okay, go
there's
on.
one person who's very concerned about saving money for poor and needy people. I'm
I mean, saving money for poor and needy people, or giving money to them.
maybe we can talk about that, like giving money to people, right? I think it's something that usually people misunderstand a lot. They think just like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
I buy groceries for the orphanage means I've given away. what
right.
do you mean by giving away to people?
Yeah, I can share with you, but I don't know whether my way of thinking is a bit extreme. I don't know, but the thing is, I look at it like this: if nature has given you money, there must be a reason why it has given you the money. All right, you must use the money as wisely as possible. It is very, very important. Now, just because I mean, if somebody comes and asks you 10 ringgit, maybe your friend say, "Hey, 10 ringgit pinjam lah." Okay, you give 10 ringgit, fine. Then tomorrow, I will come back, ask another 10 ringgit. Start thinking, okay, never mind, give him 10 ringgit. The third time he come and ask you 10 ringgit means something is wrong somewhere. All right. Rather than actually giving the money, hey, bro, what's wrong with you? What's the issue now? You keep asking me 10 ringgit every day means it's something you're not solving the problem. If you want, I can help you to solve the problem, but you tell me what's the problem. Or talk to somebody who will solve the problem. Same thing over here. When you talk about, like orphanages and everything like that, of course they need things. We need to supply them. We have to give them stuff and everything like that. But I also believe in this. I feel it must also do something like, rather than just your money alone, okay, just your money alone. What is far more needed is your skills. If you can share with them some of your thoughts, maybe you can help them out a little bit and all that. See, rather than throwing them fish, you teach them how to fish. See, that's what I was doing with ET Ideas and Ascendance. I build people from ground. Yes, they become very successful and everything, but I made sure that they always have the element of going back and helping people, especially the ones from their community and everything like that. And that's what the Ascendance is doing right now. You see, basically, I taught you guys how to fish. Yeah, and you are now going out there and teaching people how to fish. You see, it's no point throwing fish. They keep coming back. They keep coming back. And what's the point? Right. So the key thing is, if you want to help those people who are not doing well and everything like that, please do. I mean, those who are really hardcore poor, sometimes they need money for food and all, please do. But look also a bit on the bigger picture. If you are somebody who can get them a job, help them out there. If they have some aspiration of their own, if you have some resources, you can help them. You don't need to help a million people. Even you have 1-2 people, you have done your part. That 1-2 people will go and help more people. Just like I work with 4 of you guys, founders of Ascendance. I invested maybe about 3-4 years of my life in there, and I'm still investing. Okay, so anyway, I'm still investing. Now, 3-4 years of my life in there. But now look at you guys. You guys are helping thousands of kids, I mean, it's unimaginable. Even me, when I started, I never expected the kind of success you guys are having now. You have got corporates, you got parents, you got students, you got teachers, all of them under one roof, and getting them to work with you to actually spread this knowledge and experience with regards to life and everything like that, and teaching them, showing them how they can do whatever they want. You get what I mean? So amazing, right?
I have to apologize. I just disappeared.
You disappeared?
I just disappeared and came back, so I have no idea what happened due to my poor internet connection. But okay, I hope you wrapped up your point. I didn't cut you.
Yeah, I wrapped up the point. Yeah, correct.
Okay, so I have one last question for you.
Yeah.
How can we summarize this whole 4 stages of life and one last takeaway for all of us?
Okay, one thing I can tell you, rather than telling all these things, I tell you a simple story. One of my favorite stories, I've told this before, those who have heard this will start laughing again. So it's a lion story, okay? Right, a lion story. A lion is born into this world, okay? And then in the beginning, it is learning, how to move around, he do all clumsy things and all that. Eventually, he gains his strength, and then he hunts for the food. And then, you see, what he does, he hunts for the food, eat only what he needs, and then balance, he'll just leave and then he'll just move on. I mean, the pack will eat and then they'll move on. Then you find all this musang la, this ants la, that la, this la, and eventually it goes on. This is nature's laws. All right. And then as the lion gets older and all that, it is now more wiser. When he was younger, he'll chase every animal. When he's older already, he has a lot more experience. So when you have a lot of experience, guess what happens? When he has a lot more experience, guess what happens? He doesn't chase everyone. He chases only within his own limit line and all that. And he grows older, what will happen? He doesn't take more food, he takes lesser food. He rests more. And those younger lions which learn from him and everything like that, to a great extent, keep track of him, make sure he's okay and everything like that. So they will do the hunting and he will just take a bit for himself and then gone. And then he will die something called gracefully. See, gracefully is the word. You live through life gracefully, whether good, bad, whatever it is, you live it gracefully. You accept it and then you change it, you move it and so on. And then you go with your go, what your heart says. Now imagine there's another lion, okay? This lion will be educated. I mean, very educated. So he looked at it, why the other lion was so stupid, every time he has to go hunt and everything like that. So what he does, he goes and hunt and then he get the food ready, he eats some, then now this is a bit smarter one, he has a fridge. Okay, he has a fridge, you open the fridge, you put it, I know it sounds silly, but anyway, just imagine he put a balanced food inside there because he don't want to hunt anymore. So he carries this fridge with him, and then whenever he wants food, he open quietly and then eat because he's scared that other fellas, the musang and all these fellas will come, the fox and all these things will come, hyenas and all that. So he carries this thing, After some time, you notice something, he loses the skill of hunting because he's just depending on the food that is already there. And another thing is also this, he's also paranoid. Night he cannot sleep because he sleep, the fellas come and steal and go, then how? Right. After some time, he loses his strength, he loses this, he loses a lot of things, he loses himself. That's the truth. Now, why? Only because he wanted more than what he actually needed. Right. As time goes on, the fear becomes so much that even his own group of people, he starts looking at each other and then like, oh, I don't trust you, I don't trust you, I don't trust you, I don't trust you, which is basically happening to a lot of people that I know who are very rich right now. They don't even trust their own relatives, they don't trust their own family members, they don't trust quite a number of them going through it, but they have tons of money in the bank. I just saw some of them. I mean, I'm teaching that now. I'm teaching some of these people how to learn to let go. When I tell them this, you don't want all this problem, right? Just give it away. And you go, how to give it away? Don't give it away. I say, you give it away. That's how it works. So they'll ask me this question: how am I actually doing my thing? And all a quick one. I just finish it.
Yeah.
See, when I let go everything, all right, I build people over time. See, people are very grateful. All right, and they still seek my counsel every now and then. They ask for my advice and this and that. I teach them this, that. Once in a while they give me some money and I'm okay. I don't need much now to live because I live a much simpler life, and life is so much more better and my heart is a bit more lighter. That's it. The only thing that I have right now is basically working with Ascendance. That's about all. Okay, that one maybe another deal, huh? Thanks. Okay, so far.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think the conclusion of it is, guys, like, gracefully go through the 4 stages of life and make sure you perform each part properly. Because if you don't do your learning well, you will definitely not do your experiencing well, and it will just be a domino effect. So thank you so much, Irungo, for taking your time to join us for Money Matters.
Thank you for having me.
And that's it, guys. End of Money Matters today. And a lot of you are freaking out in the comments. Yes, it is a 24-hour live. I know you guys cannot understand that it's such a long event, but it's going to be so much of fun. Stay on, watch all of the segments. It's going to be a lot of fun. Madhura signing off. This was a very, very exciting Money Matters segment. Just before we go off, I would like to share with you that you can actually subscribe to Money Matters, because we have a lot of exciting episodes. So you can subscribe to Money Matters. So thank you so much once again. Thank you so much for watching, and please do like and subscribe so that you never miss an episode. Do share this episode with your friends and family. And if you like this episode, leave us a review on our Facebook page, facebook.com/simplyempowering. Money Matters is where we aim to provide valuable content to inspire and empower you on your money matters. Thank you once again for watching this episode, and see you guys at the next one.